When you have diabetes, there's two pretty common tests they ask you to take. But don't worry, you can't fail them. Now, there are two tests that are pretty common if you're diabetic or you're being diagnosed with diabetes for the first time. First is the fasting blood glucose test. And what they're doing here is kind of what it sounds like. They're looking to see how much glucose, sugar, is in your blood. Now, in order to do that, they need to make sure that, there isn't something affecting how much sugar is in your blood, like you just had a really big meal or, you ate a candy bar on the way to get your blood drawn. So they ask you to do a fasting test, which means that you haven't eaten or drinking anything other than water for about the 12 hours before the test. So this levels the playing field and makes sure that they can have a reasonable expectation of what it is they think your numbers should be, which should be somewhere like 100 or less. Now, for most of us, we take this test first thing in the morning because the best time to fast is while you're sleeping. So you just don't eat anything after dinner time, and by the time the lab opens up at 8 or 8:30 in the morning, it's been 12 hours, you can get your blood draw, and it's no big deal. The other test that also they take based on your blood is called your A1c. And this looks at how much your average blood sugar has been over the course of about 3 months. Now, it's over 3 months because that's how often your body replaces its red blood cells. So every 3 months, you have a fresh new set of red blood cells in your body. Now, when they test this test, what they're looking for is how many of those red blood cells have sugar stuck to them. Literally, like how many are caramelized. And I'm not making that word up. That's literally what it's called. And they're looking at that as a percentage. And if you are in a normal range with your A1c percentage, you want to see a percentage, somewhere below 6 or even below 5.5%. That would be considered normal. For a lot of people, especially when they're first diagnosed with diabetes, will have an A1c of 7, 8, 9, or even up into the low teens as far as the percentage goes. And what this means is not only have you perhaps had higher than regular blood sugar that morning, but you've had chronically high blood sugar over the past 3 or 2 months. So both of these tests are administered on a regular basis, often 4 or maybe just 2 times a year to anybody who's receiving treatment for type 2 diabetes.